up, guys? Welcome back to the All-in-One podcast. It's your host, Jacob, with Matt and Brett. Today, we'll be covering the Bruins and Celtics first round. Some highs and definitely some very lows.
There's no highs at all.
There's some. Not really. Some highs. All right. I think we should cover the Bruins first, get the harsh thing out of the way. Matt, from like a non-really Bruins fan perspective, what was your thoughts on this?
Going into the series, I was pretty confident that the Bruins would be able to win, just historic season. And I, like Jacob said, I'm not really big into the Bruins, not really big into hockey, but I'll tune in for like playoff games and if like we're watching the games with some friends. But going into it, I just thought they were gonna win. I did not think they would lose, especially in such a heartbreaking way, especially in the first round. But I thought with some injuries, I know Bergeron was out for a couple of games, so I knew that definitely impacted them. But I thought they had a good team as a whole and didn't really see how they could lose, but, didn't end the way we wanted it to.
So going into the season, you never watched really any games, like regular season?
Yeah, I only really watched with, like, if we're at Brett's house or Jacob's house, whatever, wherever we are, we're watching the game. It's not often, but I'll tune in just because that's what my friends like to do, and I'm not opposed to that. So I knew the players on the team, but I wasn't never really like watching the games on my own.
Mm-hmm. So, Brett, I know you're a very big Bruins fan.
Yep. Not anymore.
What's your thoughts on first round?
Terrible. Embarrassing. I cried for 2 days. The tears didn't stop.
Is there any reason why you think they lost? Any
They're terrible.
Can you elaborate? What do you think?
Personally, I think they probably should have played Swayman earlier than they did, and that was a big mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Bergeron's injury had a toll on them, but I think playoff hockey is just a different beast.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing you shouldn't expect, even from the worst team in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Which, not to say that's the Florida Panthers, because most of their roster was injured all year. So, and I honestly hope Florida wins, because if some team's gonna beat us, they better win the whole thing.
No, I 100% agree with the whole playoff thing, like a fluke.
Oh yeah.
Really, once it comes to playoff time, really anyone can win. You can see the Panthers up 3-0 on the Leafs. So there's some things that the Bruins did wrong.
Oh, yep.
Obviously, we could all see it from our couches. Linus Ullmark was injured.
Yes.
When he would go post to post, you could see he would more go out of the crease to dive.
Yes.
I know you saw that. Yeah,
He would kind of flip over a lot.
Yeah. So I think when they were up 3-1, they should have put Swayman in, just see what he would have done.
Yeah.
They're up 3-1. You got 3 games. You can afford to lose one, go back to Boston, win. The final 3 games, the offense, I don't even know what happened. They just couldn't score, unless if he was on the power play.
They literally produced nothing.
Yeah.
I think the major reason why they lost was, the biggest takeaway is all the takeaways that they gave up. They lost the puck all the time.
No, yeah.
They would just pass it to the other team.
Yeah. What I was going to say is there was just really bad play from the defensemen. We knew Clifton and Forbert, they aren't the best, so we kind of expected them to not play bad. But Charlie McAvoy and Lindholm, your 1A, 1B defensemen.
Oh yeah.
Lindholm pretty much non-existent in the last 3 games. Didn't have any goals, points, assists. McAvoy, he was -2 in the last 3 games, so not good at all.
Our team's just not a playoff team.
I think what I saw a lot was Florida was a lot faster.
Yep.
I don't know if any of you guys saw that.
Yeah.
They had a lot more heart.
It seemed like they wanted it more.
Yeah. A big hit was Bergeron not being there, but even when he was there, Bruins were 0-3.
Yeah.
Now, Game 7. It looked like they were gonna win, and then a minute left. Just let last goal up.
Charlie McAvoy, biggest mistake of his life, tipped it in.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that was a good game. I mean, we saw Swayman play a very good Game 7. I mean, why wouldn't you put him in earlier? If you knew, if it was a 1A, 1B goalie, like,
Yep.
tandem, like what?
And Swimman played good
Coach would
that last
say,
game,
yeah.
too.
Then overtime, I feel like we all knew
They
Panthers
dominated.
were just going to score.
Nobody thought they were going to win.
Yeah.
The Bruins were going to win.
There was a play, though, where Pasternak, right in front of the net, shot it and it hit off the goalie's, like, shaft,
Yeah.
like the long shaft. So if it just, I mean, that's just, like, unlucky. So for the postseason, well, like, after season for the Bruins, will Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci even come back?
I wouldn't.
What do you think? No?
If I'm Bergeron, I'm just like, well, best record of all time.
You don't think run it back?
no.
One more? No?
We're not going to do as good as we did this year. We
What
got
about
so
you,
lucky.
Matt?
Nobody got injured.
How old's Bergeron? Isn't he like
He's
35?
Yeah.
very old. Like, I
Yeah.
think, like, 2005.
35 is
Drafted.
not very old.
I don't know. I didn't.
Nah,
No, not you.
I'm pretty sure he's drafted, like, 04, 05. So, yeah, it's pretty old. He was going to retire last year, but he decided to come back, so.
Yeah. I
Do you think,
that's
like,
smart.
even, like, David Krejci would come back?
No.
I
No.
mean, like, I don't. If there's like how old is Krejci?
Probably older, probably same age as Bergeron, around there.
I mean, if there's not really like a huge incentive, then I don't.
He
really
also
see why they would.
retired in 2021 to go play for his hometown or his home country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then he came back for one more year. And then, so this team pretty much has no future. They traded all their first round picks for Tyler Bertuzzi and Orlov.
We just got to see what they do next year. I doubt they're going to be as good as they were this year. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thought they were going to be good this past season.
No.
Nobody expected this. But we'll just see what they do next year. And if they do bad next year, then it's pretty much over.
Yeah. So with the cap space, I mean, you traded for Bertuzzi and Orlov. They're pretty much rentals for that 1 year. You're probably going to lose at least one of them. Probably both of them, honestly.
Yeah.
And then you pretty much have no, like, actual young prospects. I'm pretty sure they're, like, bottom 5 or 3 in the league and,
I
like,
mean-
young players.
Swayman's kind of young, right?
Yeah, but, like, people who are, like, in, like, AHL,
They had a young team.
like, young, like, 18. Like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So they pretty much have, like, no young players, no first-round picks for the next, like, 3 or 4 years. They're probably going to go to the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
Now, this is the question. Is this the biggest choke ever? What do you think?
No, Patriots.
Patriots? What about you, Stein?
I'd probably have to say that Patriots
Yeah.
too. I mean, like that was just really bad. I mean, like I know like the Warriors 73-9.
Yeah.
They
Top 3.
choked a
Those
3-1
three.
lead. You got to go back and forth, but like with the Patriots, that team was loaded.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was going
Yeah.
to say, I had in my notes 18-0 Patriots.
Giants just got lucky with that catch.
And then the Warriors, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say the Patriots, honestly. Like, if you you go 18-0, one more game. The Giants were, like, the worst seed in the NFC, too. So it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
I think we move on to the Celtics.
Yeah, Celtics.
Actually, I got something about the Bruins.
Okay.
When I was talking about incentive for like Bergeron and Krejci to come back, I was thinking more when Jacob was talking about like Orlov and Bertuzzi being rentals. It doesn't. If they leave, there's like you traded your whole future, so
Yeah.
there's nothing really for them to come back to. It's not really. It wouldn't look too good. So
Yeah, you need to keep the same team,
Yeah.
I'd say.
And even, like, I was going to say, when they signed those 1-year contracts, they were a lot, like, what do I call it? Bonus heavy, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, right as they signed it, they got, like, millions of dollars, which tax on to next year's cap space, so you're going to have even less money. They aren't going to be able to sign anyone, like, top 6 forwards or defensemen, so, yeah. They have, like, no future. I mean, what do you guys think is, like, a future, like, next year? What do you think they'll land in, like, the standings?
They'll make the playoffs, I think.
Yeah.
They're the same. I mean, they should make the playoffs.
What about you? What do you think?
I just think it's kind of if hypothetically if Krejci and Bergeron both go, and then
Yeah.
one of Bertuzzi and Orlov go, or both of them, whoever. I mean, like I could see them in the playoffs, but I just obviously
gonna go far.
they wouldn't make a deep run.
Yeah.
So I think they would need to see after next season and just probably try to rebuild at that point.
Yeah.
Marchand's getting old as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably have them as like a wild card too, or like right there,
Yeah.
but like just missing the playoffs. And
Alright.
yeah, rebuild.
Celtics.
All right. Moving on to Celtics. What do you guys think? Because I thought it was a good series all around.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Shouldn't have let up.
it
two wins.
should not have gone 6 games at all.
I think Tatum did a good job in that series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really. I didn't like thoroughly watch it, but I was there for like 4 of the games, I think. But
Yeah.
it seemed like a pretty good series.
I know you're a big Celtics fan.
Oh,
Matt,
yeah. Get
and
ready for this guy.
I know
You guys gonna
you.
spiel about it?
Supposedly, I've heard you watch every game. I don't know if that's real.
Jesus.
I've been
This
a
guy.
little caught up with some things recently, with some sports, so I haven't been engaged in every single game, but I try to do my best to, keep up. But like Jacob said, I pretty much watch like as many games as I can. Yeah, I mean, like that Hawks team, I made a bracket going into the playoffs, and I did not think the Hawks I thought the Hawks would be like the 8th seed and like maybe be the 8th seed, but then also like
Yeah.
get bounced out of the play-in tournament. But I didn't see that team being that good. I don't think Trae Young's that good, and I don't think Trae Young and DeJounte Murray would work that well together. So I just thought it was going to be like, when I saw it was going to be Celtics Hawks, I thought it would have been Celtics in 5. Like
Yeah.
worst, I thought like Trae Young maybe would have a good game, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And then after watching Game 5, it was like, inconsistencies. Tatum 1 for 10 from 3. Just like I thought every season I try to be optimistic and hope that the Celtics are gonna get back to the finals, or conference finals, whatever it is, and they don't have the mentality to just keep going. They choke leads, and they're just the inconsistency doesn't look too good, especially with tougher teams coming up.
Yeah, I was gonna point out Game 5 in particular. That was just not a good game at all from really any of the players. Tatum, 19 points, 1 for 10 from 3. I mean, you can't be doing that bad in a playoff game, especially as you're the top 5 player in the league, best player on the team. They also choked a 13-point lead with 6 minutes left, which that just can't happen, honestly. But what I did see is from a very good player, Derek White. He really showed how he can be like a real good role player.
Yeah.
Can really handle the ball well. Really good from defense, blocking shots, whatnot. I know you watched the series. Did you see anything on Derek White?
Yeah, I mean, coming from last year, he was just a really solid player, someone you could count on, and that's someone you need, especially in the playoffs. So, I mean, I think there was a game, or maybe it was like throughout like the first couple of games, it was like Derek White averaging 25 points. And even though it was only from a 2-game sample size, I thought it was really could show that he can be effective when others can't score, or he can, put the ball on the floor when he needs to. And just especially on defense, like he's one of the league's best guard shot blockers. So he is just really effective on the team and plays a serious role. Like Jacob said, he's emerging as a serious role player.
Yeah, and I would say before the season when we got Malcolm Brogdon and we had Smart, Derek White, and Malcolm Brogdon, I thought he would be like the worst out of all of them, honestly.
Oh.
But now going into the playoffs after that first round, I think he's right up there with them,
Yeah.
and he can get serious minutes.
I feel like
And-
nobody expected Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon to be this big of an impact.
Yeah,
I think Malcolm Brogdon was expected to be pretty good,
Yeah,
but nobody expected Derek White. I mean,
Yeah.
he went D2. Like, that's a crazy comeback story.
and so moving on to the second round, it's currently 2-2, Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers.
Joel Embiid's the only reason why they even are even close to in that. They should have won that last game, too, for sure.
Well, the Sixers won Game 1 without Embiid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Harden had like 45.
But that was just an insane performance by Harden.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, James Harden's just saving them. Honestly,
But I feel like the 2 games after that first game, he didn't put up that many points.
Yeah, no, the first.
I heard something like it was the lowest points he just put up in a playoff game. Or
Yeah,
something.
the first game 1 and game 4, he just went off, and you could see they won. Game 3, they got blown out. I mean, the Celtics could have won this series already, 4-0.
Definitely.
But the 2 games they lost, it came down to like a last-second shot, and they missed it both times. So
Marcus Smart.
we got game 5 tonight.
7:30.
Yeah. What do you guys think is gonna happen? What's your predictions? I'll start with Brett.
Anything could happen, to be honest. I feel like the way that every NBA team is playing, anything could go. It could go north, it could go south. I don't know.
What about you, Matt? What do you think?
I like the Celtics odds at home, game 5. I think I was looking at some press conferences, some post-game interviews, and Missoula, Jaylen Brown were saying that they were going to focus in, fix their mistakes. I mean, you could just say that, but I think Jaylen Brown definitely has that mentality. And Joe Missoula will want to clean up. He doesn't want to go down 3-2 in a series that they should be winning. And, yeah, I mean, I like the Celtics odds at home, and I think everyone's going to be motivated to, pick up. I know they were down in Game 4 a lot, and then they had to climb back into it. I don't think they're going to go down like that in Game 5 tonight.
Yeah, now that you said Joe Missoula, I wanted to bring up, what do you guys think about him not calling the timeout at the end of the 4th quarter when they missed Marcus Smart wide open 3, and then end of overtime when Smart actually made the 3, but the time ran out?
End of the quarter, I understand, because they weren't. It's not like they would have lost if they didn't make the shot.
Yeah.
They maybe should have called it there, but I get it. He trusted his team. But when you're down, you gotta call a timeout. I get it gives the defense a chance to get back, but I just feel like we weren't prepared enough for that.
Yeah. What do you think, Sign? Since I know you're probably no big knowledge on basketball.
Yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the 4th quarter, I saw they had 2 timeouts left, so
I didn't even know that.
I thought they should have called one. Well, I was actually looking at it out the screen, and then it said that they used a timeout because, like, whoever was running the score and everything, like, thought they used a timeout, which I thought they were going to also use a timeout, but then they didn't.
Yeah.
I think Missoula is just, I don't want to say too, like, confident in his players. It's more of like a cocky, overconfident because, when you don't call timeout, you're not really set. The players, like, people's egos get in the way. You got Smart taking a lot of shots. The one at the end of overtime, I mean, that was, you had to take that shot. That was just unlucky that there wasn't enough time left. But I just feel like people need to, you kind of got to get a set play for either, Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. And if that doesn't work, if they like double you, kick out like Al Horford or Smart. And I think that's what Tatum did at the end of the 4th quarter. But I just don't agree with the no timeout call, especially at the end of the overtime. I just, they got to set something up. You can't just let them play and expect something good to come out of it unless it's kind of miraculous.
Jaylen Brown needs to call for the ball more.
Yeah, honestly.
He's a good enough player. I feel like he just thinks his teammates aren't passing to him intentionally. Because he knows he's a good player. He's just got to start showing that.
Yeah, and when I was watching Game 4, I actually heard the commentators say that Joe Mazzulla likes to keep 2 timeouts down the stretch. And, people usually bash on him for not using them earlier. But, like, if you aren't going to use them in that scenario, like, why even have them?
Yeah.
You might as well use them earlier. So, I was going to say for Game 5 tonight, I think it's a must-win, honestly. Because if you lose this one, you go back to Philly. They have the momentum. They would win 2 in a row. I think they could easily close it out. And then I don't really like our chances at a Game 7 because we saw what happened with the Bruins, Game 7. So, yeah. What do you guys think? That's it.
Yeah, I think we went over everything pretty well. I think Bruins are the biggest choke artists, almost, of the generation. And I hate them forever.
I'd probably say, like, regarding Game 5, that they definitely got to get Jaylen Brown, like, more involved.
Yep.
I mean, I saw at the beginning of Game 4, in the first quarter, he had 12 points
Yeah.
in the first quarter, and then when he got out, they kind of just fell apart. They were kind of close, and then after he got subbed out, they just kind of fell apart. And then you see Tatum didn't have a basket until like 2 minutes left in the second quarter. So he gotta, like, Tatum, when he gets his shots, he misses. That's just not good for the team, obviously. When you could be taking someone's gotta just give him like an easy bucket off like a fast break, and just get him going from there and just not like forcing shots. So.
Yeah, I know at the beginning of Game 5, he had like the Celtics' first like 12 or 14 points. I mean, I know he had 2 fouls, but like he needs to get the ball more, especially if he's gonna be going and scoring things like that.
Yeah.
That's really about it, I'd say.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the second episode of the All-in-One podcast. Next episode, we actually have a special guest from the high school, Lily McKenzie. She does softball, hockey, and if you didn't know this already, she's also Brett Gallucci's cousin.
She's my cousin.
If you couldn't tell by the red hair already. So,
I have red hair. She's my cousin. Hi, Lily.
Yeah, that's about it. See you guys next time.
All right. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.